this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. One, a comprehensive report on the investigation into human trafficking in northern Kenya and in the country, including the investigation into the operation of involved recruitment agencies. Measures being taken to ensure that the families and individuals who suffer these atrocities get injustice and rehabilitation. The long-term measures being implemented to address cases of human trafficking in the country and formalize labor export from the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
2 weeks. Give him the mic.
Honorable Speaker, I want to indulge you on this because from what I hear, the honorable member is talking about Kenyans being exported outside of the country beyond our territorial boundaries. And it's my honest opinion that this could be more handled by the Foreign Affairs.
Where the question is about human trafficking in northern Kenya, not out of northern Kenya.
But beyond our territorial boundaries, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Clerk, can you check and see whether we can reassign the statement to Foreign Affairs? Be that as it may, whichever committee handles, they will respond to you in 2 weeks. Rahab Mukamiyo has his spent, so we skip that. Joseph Munyoro, MP Kigumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to request for a statement regarding the disappearance of persons in my constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the disappearance of persons from Kigumo constituency. Honorable Speaker, an alarming trend has emerged regarding the disappearance of persons in Mareira sublocation in Kigumo constituency. Honorable Speaker, Mr. David Gitau Maina, of ID number 20 as listed there, disappeared on 27 of December 2024, and his whereabouts remain unknown to this day. According to his family members, Mr. Gitau went out to complete a large purchase transaction, and his phone went silent. He has not been seen since. On the same day, Mr. David Jehia Masharia, whose ID is listed, vanished from his home and his location is also unknown. Additionally, Mr. James Buru Kariuki, ID number as listed from Irima village in the same sublocation, disappeared on the same date and has not been located. Moreover, on January 7th, 2025, Mr. Patrick Karanja Gitau, whose ID is listed, a recently retired army officer, vanished from his home and his whereabouts remain unaccounted for. All these disappearances have been reported to Kigumo Police Station under the following OB numbers: OB number 10/29/12/2024, OB number 10/21/01/2025, OB number 14/01/2025, and OB number 29/8/01/2025. Efforts to trace the whereabouts of the missing persons have faced several challenges, including the fact that Kigumo Police Station, which serves as the divisional headquarters, is operating with only one malfunctioning vehicle for the whole constituency, limiting mobility. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, report on the whereabouts of Mr. David Gitau Maina, Mr. Daniel Jehia Masharia, Mr. James Buru Kariuki, and Mr. Patrick Karaja Gitau, and the status of investigations by the police on their disappearance as reported under OB numbers 10/01/01/2025, 10/29/12/2024, 29/8/01/2025, and 14/01/2025 respectively. 2, actions being taken by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to ensure that the said persons are expeditiously traced and reunited with their families, and perpetrators of their disappearances are brought to book. 3, measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to ensure the safety of residents of Marira sublocation in Kigumo constituency. And 4, plans put in place by the ministry to provide more vehicles to Kigumo Police Station to facilitate the security personnel to undertake their operations with this. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Tongoyo.
Honorable Speaker, I will be able to respond in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. It is.
Yes.
Okay. Joyce Kamene, member for Machakos County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a request for a statement regarding the status of Mavoko Water Supply Project. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation regarding the status of Mavoko Water Supply Project. Honorable Speaker, the Mavoko Drinking Water Supply Project is an initiative financed jointly by the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Kingdom of Belgium, in line with the national government's commitment to provision of universal, clean, and safe water. The project seeks to increase the water supply capacity to 12,000 and 5,000 cubic meters per day to Mavoko and Syokimau areas, respectively. Hundreds of residents who have been hoping to benefit from the project, considering the perennial water shortages in these areas, continue to face challenges owing to the incoordinate delay in the implementation of the project. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation on the following: a report on the status of implementation of the Mavoko Drinking Water Supply Project, jointly funded by the Kenyan and Belgian government; a report on the steps being taken by the ministry to ensure the completion of the project and the expected timeline for its completion; and the interim measures being taken by the ministry to address the water scarcity faced by the residents and to protect them from unscrupulous water vendors.
Yes,
I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Joyce Kamene. Bowen, Chair, Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation. Bowen, when you have business, you should remain static.
Yes, I had seen it, Honorable Speaker, but in 2 weeks' time, I will bring answers.
2 weeks' time. Thank you. Next, hold on. Before we go on with the next statements, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery Light Academy from Karen Langata, Nairobi, Kenyatta University students from Ruiru, Kiambu. On my behalf and on your behalf as a house, we welcome them to the House of Parliament. Next, Honorable Clive Gisairo, MP Kitutu Masaba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to request for a statement regarding the policy on transmission of political messages by Safaricom PLC. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation regarding the policy applied by Safaricom PLC on transmission of political messages. Honorable Speaker, in recent months, numerous users of various premium rate services providers, PRSP, and customers whose applications for sender IDs are whitelisted as pre-approved entities have been experiencing blocking of transmission of political messages. This raises significant concerns about transparency and fairness of the criteria used by the Safaricom PLC to determine messages deemed to be acceptable and those which are not. Political messaging is a vital aspect of our democratic process, allowing candidates to communicate on their platforms and engage with voters. By blocking certain political messages, Safaricom PLC may inadvertently favor specific political entities over others, which could cause an imbalance in the political landscape. The lack of clear guidelines and communication from Safaricom regarding this policy undermines democratic engagement and the free flow of information. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation on the following. 1, a report on whether the policy by Safaricom PLC, if any, regarding transmission of political messages aligns with the constitutional provisions and laws safeguarding freedom of speech and communication and consumer rights of access to information. Steps taken by Safaricom PLC to ensure that the process for blocking sender IDs, particularly in the political context, is impartial and free from bias. 3, the policy framework and administrative mechanisms for affected parties to seek redress or appeal, including seeking refund for the whitelisted sender IDs. 4, the criteria for approving or blocking transmission of political bulk messages and the safeguards put in place by Safaricom PLC to prevent the message blocking system from being exploited for political gain or to suppress certain viewpoints. And 5, a report on whether Safaricom PLC allows inter-network termination of messages to other networks, particularly Airtel, and if not, the interventions required for Safaricom to allow inter-network termination and facilitate a common sender ID for messages sent through the two service providers, particularly by businesses and organizations, so as to enhance their brand recognition and improve the overall user experience. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I had raised this statement in the third session, and it took months without getting a response. I hope the committee
will ensure you get a response quickly.
Thank you, Speaker.
Communication, Information and Innovation. KJ, Majority Leader, ensure we have a response in 2 weeks.
I will do that.
Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to request for a statement regarding the safety and security of Kenyans stranded in Myanmar. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the safety and security of Kenyans stranded in Myanmar. Honorable Speaker, since 2022, hundreds of Kenyans have fallen victims to an elaborate human trafficking syndicate operating under the guise of lucrative jobs offered in Thailand. Many are lured with promises of employment as customer service agents, drivers, waiters, among others. However, upon arrival in Bangkok, Thailand, they are kidnapped and transported to the border town of Mae Sot, from where they are smuggled into Myanmar. Once in Myanmar, victims are subjected to forced labor, coercion, and criminal activities, including sophisticated online scams targeting individuals globally, including Kenya. While there has been a rescue of over 7,000 foreigners, many persons, including a significant number of Kenyans, remain trapped, unable to cross back to Thailand due to the closed border. The conditions at these borders are dire, as they lack basic necessities such as food, water, and sanitation facilities, while the security situation is volatile. The issue of human trafficking of Kenyans in Myanmar is not new, and its persistence highlights the needs of lasting measures. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations on the following. Number one, status of Kenyans currently stranded in Myanmar, and especially those currently stranded at the Myanmar-Thailand border, including the number of Kenyans affected, the current security situations, and timelines for their repatriation. Number two, the immediate action being taken by the Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs to engage with the government of Thailand in rescuing Kenyans stranded at the Myanmar-Thailand border. Number three, measures taken by the Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs to engage with the government of Thailand in addressing the issue of human trafficking, including cooperation strategies and the stringent border control measures to prevent further trafficking of Kenyans. Number four, report of the status of investigation by the Director of Criminal Investigation into human trafficking networks in Kenya operated by fraudulent employment agencies. And finally, number five, steps taken by the government to educate the youth about human trafficking, specifically sensitizing them on verifying recruitment agencies before seeking employment abroad. I thank you.
Defense, Intelligence, Foreign Relations. Bashir, you are the Vice Chair of that committee.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
When can you bring a response to that?
I think, Honorable Speaker, we can do that in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks. Thank you. Dr. Joyce Bensouda, Homa Bay County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to raise a statement regarding destruction of forest in Magadi. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Orders 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environmental, Forestry and Mining regarding destruction of forest in Magadi for charcoal production. Honorable Speaker, forests play a crucial role in sustaining life and maintaining climate stability. However, in recent years, the Lake Magadi region has experienced severe destruction due to high demand for charcoal. Indigenous tree species are being harvested to meet the high demand for charcoal. The environmental impact for the trend is alarming, which affects such as increased vulnerability to climate change. To regulate charcoal production, the Charcoal Regulation 209 were introduced. Additionally, in 2016, the House passed the Climate Change Act Cap 387A, which provides a framework for the promotion of climate resilience, low carbon economic development. However, the enforcement remains a challenge, with a significant portion of charcoal production remaining unregulated, further contributing to adverse effects of climate change. Honorable Speaker, it is against the background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining on the following. One, immediate measure that the Ministry for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry putting in place to curb the ongoing destruction of forests in Magadi region for charcoal production. Two, steps that the ministry is taking to enforce the Charcoal Regulation of 209 and the Climate Change Act to ensure compliance with sustainable forestry practices. Three, strategies to promote use and uptake of alternative energy source so as to reduce dependency on charcoal to mitigate the adverse environmental impacts of deforestation. And four, long-term strategies to enhance forest conservation to enhance forest conservation in Magadi and other affected regions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Bensouda. Chair Environment. Who is the Chair Environment? Owen. Can you ensure, is that Gikaria's committee?
Yes.
Ensure they bring a response in 2 weeks.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Ariko Namoit, Turkana South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to request for a statement regarding gold mining in Turkana South. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining regarding gold mining in Turkana South constituency. Honorable Speaker, there are mining activities currently being undertaken in the Minyeusi on the border of Sigor and Turkana South constituencies, Lorogon village in Kaptiri Ward, Lobokat Division, and Kolomwai in Turkana South constituency. Minerals wealth in Turkana presents significant economic potential. However, there is a need to ensure mining activities are conducted safely and legally, complying with public safety and environmental standards. These activities, which commence without the involvement of the residents, have exposed them to hazardous chemicals and has caused destruction of farm produce and pollution of water in the area. Notably, the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, CAP 387, provides that projects related to mining ought to have an environmental impact assessment study report submitted prior to the issuance of mining license. In addition, the natural resource is allocated within disputed land and could possibly compound existing conflict among its communities in the area. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining regarding the following. 1, report on the steps taken by the government, including a report on public participation conducted, if any, prior to issuance of mining licenses in La Minyeusi, Lorogon Village, and Kalomai in Turkana South. 2, list of the mining licenses issued in Turkana County in the last 3 years and the operational requirements issued to the licensees. 3, steps taken to prevent any conflict among communities bordering the sites, including consultation with the leaders within the area. And finally, Honorable Speaker, a report on the benefit sharing formula agreed on to the guarantee residents returns from gold mining in the county. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. There was a member who requested to joyride on this. Lo Chakapong. Go ahead. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I wish to support the statement by the Honorable Dr. Rico, the member for Turkana South, and say, Honorable Speaker, that we have a lot of illegal miners, particularly in West Pokot and between West Pokot and Turkana. Now, Honorable Speaker, these illegal miners are operating without a mining license, and they are mining gold. Honorable Speaker, we have engaged these people, but seemingly these people are cartels, and they are being protected by officers from the Ministry of Mining, right from the regional office in Eldoret to the headquarters here. All those guys who are supposed to be protecting communities are aligned in doing illegal work. When you get them, they have no license for mining, they have no consent from the county government, they have no document. Others will even tell you they have fraudulent documents from NEMA, because when you look at the kind of environmental destructions that they have caused, it is worrying and it is sad. So, Honorable Speaker, I wish that the committee expedites to find out this, because according to the statement by Dr. Rico, these people do not have any mining license. They have even threatened to change the course of a river, Honorable Speaker, and very soon a town called Kainuk will be swept away just because of the activities of these illegal miners. So I wish that these people are brought to book, and if they have applied for a mining license and they have not gotten, let them, again, because they have engaged in illegal activities, let them be denied these licenses. Honorable Speaker, the government, the communities, county government are losing a lot of resources in terms of royalties because these people are engaged in illegal activities, not only in Lamnyeusi, but in many parts of West Pokot, Honorable Speaker. So I wish to say that if within the Ministry of Mining, the CS is the only probably officer not aligned in this corruption web, I wish the minister or the cabinet secretary visits that area to find for himself what is happening. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Otienda Molo. Give Senior Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your kind indulgence, let me just piggyback on this one very briefly. Mr. Speaker, in your absence yesterday, I did say in this House that in the last 48 hours, I lost 5 of my constituents to mining activities in Rarieda. 5 women who are going about their business, the youngest of them being only 27 years, undergraduate. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the issue of mining is important to address, but it's important to address from my perspective in 3 ways. One is the importance of publishing the various mining licenses that have been issued throughout the country. Because I don't think there has been an occasion when, even as elected representatives, we are made aware of the holders of those licenses. Even in my constituency, I am aware that in the county there are some people who've been issued with those licenses and we don't quite know them. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it is important for the committee to capture the intersection in terms of mandate. When I inquired for the Cabinet Secretary for Mining, I was informed that there's a of the mandate that has been ceded to the counties. But I'm not sure that the counties are either aware or clear in terms of the regulation, so that the citizens are left at that intersection without clarity. But thirdly, Mr. Speaker, the most important thing in my view in terms of mining is that citizens from being involved in mining, especially artisanal mining, because the citizen needs money and many of them do not have jobs or alternative sources of income. So they must be allowed to do artisanal mining. What is important is the safety and the regulation. And that safety needs to be provided both by national government and by the county government. So that I would urge the committee to explore that area in the engagement with the Department for Mining, so that we can see how to improve on the security, even if it means providing security, whether from the county or national government, that can regulate the area of mining, that can fence off and stop people from going from the dangerous areas. That is what we will need to do. But I support the statement, Mr. Speaker, and I urge that the committee looks into it with expedition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Mining. Who is the Chair Environmental, Forest and Mining? Gikaria. Owen, 2 weeks.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Umulkhair Kasim, Mandera County. Honorable Umulkhair Kasim, Sabina, I'll come to you after that. Give Umulkhair the mic. One next to you there.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Which chair?
Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry. I'm requesting for a statement on the drought situation in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 442C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Regional Development regarding the drought situation in Mandera. Honorable Speaker, Mandera County, especially Mandera West constituency, is experiencing acute water shortage due to prolonged drought conditions in the country. The main water sources in the county, including earth pans and boreholes, have dried up, leaving the residents without an alternative source of water during this month of Ramadan. The situation, Honorable Speaker, is dire. This situation has led to health concerns due to dehydration and malnutrition, particularly affecting children and elderly. In addition, the situation has led to the death of livestock, which is a source of livelihood for the community. Further, the residents are at risk of developing waterborne diseases due to lack of water for sanitation, adversely affecting their lives and livelihood. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Regional Development on the following: measures being taken to enhance the supply and distribution of relief food, water, and nutritious supplements for children and elderly persons to the affected arid and semi-arid areas, including Mandera County during this month of Ramadan. Measures being put in place to provide medical assistance to vulnerable populations to prevent malnutrition and dehydration. Long-term plans to drill boreholes and mega pans to supply water to the residents for consumption, including livestock and other agricultural activities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Umulkhair. Chair, Regional Development.
Honorable Speaker.
Dr. Kapong.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I will endeavor to give a response to this statement within 2 weeks.
2 weeks, thank you. Sabina Chege. Yes, Umulkhair.
I seek your indulgence on this. Since you know we're in the month of Ramadan and the situation is dire and we're going to go on recess soon, could you please intervene and request that we get a response within a week?
Can you try and bring a response by Thursday next week?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, just like I said, I will endeavor to give a response to the statement within 2 weeks.
I'm telling you that try and bring on Thursday
Yes,
next
Honorable
week.
Speaker, that will be done.
Is that okay?
Yes, and that will be within the 2 weeks.
Next week is a week. Or you said within 2 weeks?
Yeah, before the end of 2 weeks. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thursday next week. Sabina Chege. Give Sabina the mic. There's one across after Kasheri. Now you have one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You switch, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to bring to the attention of the House that today is Ash Wednesday, and I wanted to take this opportunity to wish all the Catholic faithfuls in this House a fruitful Lent season. Mr. Speaker, this is the time that the Catholic faithfuls will start a journey of 40 days, a time for prayer, a time for fasting, and also a time to give service to human beings, Mr. Speaker. And so today, Mr. Speaker, we were reminded that we came from dust, and dust we shall go. It is also a time, Mr. Speaker, that we reflect on what we are doing now that we are halfway the term, Mr. Speaker, that we reflect on the services we are giving to Kenyans, and Mr. Speaker, that we are able to serve well. So I want to wish all the Catholic faithful a blessed time for rain season. But at the same time, Mr. Speaker, also our Muslim faithfuls who started their Ramadan, that this is going to be a fruitful season, Mr. Speaker, as we continue serving this country. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Yes, Owen?
Honorable Speaker, well, I agree with Sabina, but Ash Wednesday is not only exclusive to Catholics.
Pardon?
Ash Wednesday is not exclusive to Catholics. Even the Anglicans also celebrate Ash. Today at the All Saints Cathedral at 6 o'clock we'll have our Ash Wednesday service. And therefore I want to wish all the Anglicans and any other faith that observes Ash Wednesday all the best during this Lent time. And I wish that they observe Lent well and that they continue to pray for this country during this time. I thank you.
Thank you for expanding on what she said. I join you in doing so. Yes, Ondo? Is that Ondo? Or, oh. Yes, member from Ukraine.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I actually wanted to point out that the issue of the 40 days and the Lent issues are not only confined to the Catholics and the Anglicans. Honorable Speaker, it's really an issue of all the Christians.
Why are you splitting hairs? She spoke as a Catholic at here.
Honorable.
So if you want to speak as an Anglican, go ahead and do so.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to point out that as we observe the 40 days of Lent, Honorable Speaker, I'm hoping that we're also going to be able to fix the issue of blood transfusion in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, you understand that we are having a problem of the reagents and the blood bags. And so Kenyans are dying in hospitals today because it's a big problem where we do not have blood for transfusion because we cannot test blood. So as we observe this Lent period, Honorable Speaker, I'm hoping that we're able to also sort out this issue as a matter of urgency before it gets into a national crisis of monumental status.
Thank you, Gakusha. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, nominees to 100 national government constituencies development fund committees.
Majority Leader Owen, is that you moving it?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay...
Honorable members, I bring to your attention that there's a supplementary order paper approved by the House Business Committee, and the Speaker approved it for publication and circulation. That is what we are using now.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That pursuant to the provisions of Section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015 and paragraph 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Regulations 2016, this House approves the list of nominees for the appointment to the following 100 constituency committees for the National Government Constituencies Development Fund. Honorable Speaker, I would like to give a warning that this is a very long list, very long list. 1, Aina Moi constituency, Joseph Kibi Arap Bore, Philip Kepkemoi Kemei, Isaiah. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Owen.
Yes.
Just say with the names as appears on the order paper.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Speaker, if I can take that again, I'll be... Can I take it again, Honorable?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. That pursuant to the provision of Section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015 and paragraph 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, this House approves the list of the nominees for the appointment to the following 100 constituency committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund as in the order paper. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, as members are aware, the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF, plays a crucial role within constituencies in addressing socio-economic development in key areas, including education, that is bursaries, infrastructure, healthcare facilities, water projects, security infrastructure, and youth empowerment initiatives. Honorable Speaker, the fund primarily focuses on grassroots development initiatives with its operations and management done by Constituency Development Fund committees established by Section 43 of the NGCDF Act Cap 414A.
The importance of these committees, Honorable Speaker, cannot be underscored in regards to the project selection, oversight, and ensuring local input and accountability in the management of the project, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is important for this House to note that the mandate of the previous 290 Constituency Development Fund committees have expired, leaving a governance gap in the administration of the NGCDF projects across all constituencies. Honorable Speaker, therefore, there is immediate need to approve and gazette the nominees to ensure continuity in projects, oversight, allocation of funds, and execution of development initiatives within the constituencies. Honorable Speaker, aware that these committees are crucial in the operation of NGCDF at the constituency, I am urging the remaining 119 constituencies to send the proposed names to the board for scrutiny and subsequent submission to the House. Honorable Speaker, you note that 190 constituencies have not presented their committees for approval by this Parliament. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge members to ensure that if they have not submitted names for their committees, to do so immediately so that we expedite the process. Honorable Speaker, the processing of these nominees is done by the NGCDF committee, which is yet to be reconstituted. Therefore, the House has been given the responsibility to scrutinize the list of the nominees and approve them in accordance with the provisions of NGCDF Act and our standing order. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to urge the House to approve the list of nominees to the National Government Constituency Development Fund committees for the 100 constituencies to prevent disruption in the NCDF operations and to facilitate smooth governance at constituency level. Honorable Speaker, I would also want to point that yesterday there were point of orders that were raised on NGCDF management and especially approval of projects, Honorable Speaker, which we urged NGCDF board to ensure that they approve the projects so that as money is disbursed, there is projects to be implemented. And we also noted that constituencies development committees, we have received some money right now, around between 23 and 30 million that has been disbursed. And therefore, we need these committees, and we also need approval and code lists to ensure that there is work being done by NGCDF. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I would like to request the Honorable Kimani Chungwa, who is here now, to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second, Honorable Speaker. As the Deputy Leader has said, these committees enable all the 100 constituency NGCDF committees to start functioning after approval by the House as is required by the law. And I beg to second. I second.
Order, honorable member. Order. Order, members on their feet. Take your seats. Take your seats. Raham Mukami, take your seat. Honorable members, I propose the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, NGCDF 2015, and paragraphs 5(2) and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, this House approves the list of nominees for appointment to the following 100 constituency committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund as set out on the order paper. I put the question. I now put the question, which is that pursuant to the provision of section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, NGCDF 2015, and paragraphs 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, this House approves the list of nominees for appointment to the following 100 constituency committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund committees as set out on the order paper. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order. Order number 9.
Order number 9, motion, reconstitution of specified committees.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Chairperson's Selection Committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 175 and further to the resolutions of the House on 27th October 2022, this House approves the appointment of members to the respective committees of this House, of the House, as specified in the schedule to the supplementary order paper for 5th March 2025 in this afternoon sitting. Honorable Speaker, by the making of the standing order, Honorable Speaker, there are specific committees whose terms came to lapse at the beginning of this session. And even in this formation of the supplementary budget, the BPS and everything that has been going on, Honorable Speaker.
Have you moved the motion?
Yes, I have.
You haven't? You say, I beg to move the following motion and read it as it is. Have you done so?
I have moved, Honorable Speaker.
Sorry, I was being talked to by some members. You did. Go ahead.
I moved it.
Sorry, two members were conversing with the Speaker.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, as I was saying, through the making of the standing order, there are some specific committees whose term came to an end at the lapse of the last session. And it really brought a lot of, the committees have not been sitting, of course, for this period. And I must say that the leadership of this House, both the minority and the majority, have burnt midnight oil, Honorable Speaker, to even come up with this list. It may not be pleasing to all sometimes because our officers, Honorable Speaker, have been very busy. We've been approached by honorable members from all quarters, of course, lobbying for specific committees, maybe perhaps out of their expertise or interests or whatever reasons, Honorable Speaker. But I want to say this, that this House is very wealthy of very experienced and rich CVs, Honorable Speaker. This House enjoys people from different fields. We have experienced lawyers here, we have teachers, we have different professions, we have doctors. I mean, it is important that we share such experiences, Honorable Speaker, through these committees, even as we, try to realign our experiences and share ideas, Honorable Speaker. So the formation of these committees, Honorable Speaker, hasn't been very easy. Hasn't been very easy, Honorable Speaker, because there are so many factors to look at when you're coming up with even a single name. When you pull one, you affect the other. There is a question of regional balance. There is a question of gender. There is a question of experience. There is a question of party politics. There is a question of coalitions. So it hasn't been very easy, Honorable Speaker. And the House leadership has met, if I count, Honorable Speaker, the House leadership has met more than 16 times in coming up with this list that we've seen here. That had we extended by a day, even this list that you see today here would not come here the same as it was yesterday. Because any name that you touch from this angle, it must affect a particular angle. And we did not really look at, when we were coming up, Honorable Speaker, with this list, we didn't look at this, what people could imagine perhaps that, political pronunciations outside there, political persuasions. It was basically on political affiliations, if you are Kenya Kwanza, like the standing order provides, or Azimio coalition. It was also on the question of gender. It was also on the question of regional balance, because you really can't have two or three, for example, the committee, Honorable Speaker, that really had a lot of interest, the committee, or the budget and appropriation. I mean, over 90 members showed interest, Honorable Speaker, to be members of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, which wasn't very, very easy, Honorable Speaker. It wasn't very, very, very easy. I mean, 90, yet the provision of the standing order only provides for 27, Honorable Speaker. So the only way one can balance such, Honorable Speaker, is through coming up with a formula. And that formula, as I've said, Honorable Speaker, is the regional issue, the question of gender, the question of political affiliation, and negotiations and counter-negotiations, Honorable Speaker. So this hasn't been very easy, and that is why we really urge this House to support this list as it is. But even as we move forward, Honorable Speaker, there has also been a lot of politics as far as the formation is concerned. That perhaps, you know, because by the lapse of these committees and the formations, or somebody wants to be moved as chair from this particular side to the other. So, Honorable Speaker, it hasn't been very easy. And I want to say that it is this House, it is the members that have been selected upon being passed by this House, Honorable Speaker, that, that will sit down within 7 days and elect their own chairs, Honorable Speaker. Let it never come out there for political reasons that, you know, perhaps the leadership is going to have so-and-so appointed as chair, so-and-so ejected as chair. I mean, those powers are not a preserve of the House leadership, Honorable Speaker. It is the prerogative of the members that sit in those committees to elect the chair that they want, Honorable Speaker, so that people don't use such for politics. If you lose elections in the particular committee that you've been placed, please do not blame particular leaders or bring the issues of politics and political persuasions, which are neither here nor there, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, these committees, upon being passed by this House, the membership, as indicated in the schedule, Honorable Speaker, have 7 days to sit and elect their chair and vice chair. And then they come up with a schedule of their programs. And of course, there are so many urgent matters that needs to be handled. Several matters, Honorable Speaker, all along in the past 2 weeks have been handled by the Liaison Committee. And I'm sure the Liaison Committee has really heard through the chair, your deputy, Honorable Speaker, they've really been very, very busy moving around the corridors to do the work that the particular committees or specific committees ought to have done. And that is why we urge the committees, Honorable Speaker, once they form, they elect their chairs and vice chairs, move with speed. Urgent matters should be handled, should be expedited with speed. The issues of the NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, the issue of budget policy statements, the issues of the supplementary budget, all those other issues, Honorable Speaker, should be handled by these committees once they've been formed. So, Honorable Speaker, I therefore beg to move in the amended form the Committee on Regional Integration, Honorable Speaker, to also include the Honorable Irene Mayaka, who should or who will replace the Honorable Orero Peter Ochieng. And that is in the amended form, Honorable Speaker. The Committee on the Regional Integration. It is, in particular, let me check the page, Honorable Speaker. Let me just check, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know, as I've said, this hasn't been easy. When we were moving this earlier, 165. Yeah, it is actually page 165, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Because when you try to move here, you affect the other one. So I move in the amended form. I had earlier moved as it appeared in the standing order, Honorable Speaker, but I want to move in the amended form that in the Committee on Integration, we include the Honorable Irene Mayaka to replace the Honorable Orero Peter Ochieng in that committee. I move, Honorable Speaker, and I request the most gracious minority whip, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, to second.
There can't be anything out of order. The motion has not been seconded. Irene? Sorry, not Irene, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd ask to second this motion. And Mr.
Form.
Speaker, I wish to indicate...
You are seconding as is or in amended form?
In amended form, sorry, Mr. Speaker. I wish to second the motion in amended form, Mr. Speaker. And in seconding, Mr. Speaker, I wish to indicate, just as the majority whip has indicated, that there are committees that whose terms have expired midterm, Mr. Speaker, and therefore are being reconstituted. But, Mr. Speaker, there are also members that have shown different interests in different other committees, and there are also some vacancies that were rising either because a member has passed on or because a member lost the seat. And so, Mr. Speaker, we have done that as well. Mr. Speaker, one of the things I would wish to indicate is that when we are doing this process, I requested our side for members to show interest in different positions. Mr. Speaker, more than 40 members indicated interest in changing committees. And Mr. Speaker, with that in mind, and again, I think the majority whip indicated that most members were interested mainly or primarily in 4 committees, including one committee in which I serve, and I've actually had to let go of the committee. And Mr. Speaker, despite that, you will still find that members are still, some members may not feel like their interests have been met. We just wish to indicate it would have been my wish and my choice that everybody got what they wanted, but unfortunately the positions that are there are not enough. I would also wish to indicate, Mr. Speaker, that members can also borrow from me. Last parliament, I was only in one committee, but I'm here again still serving my 4th term. So sometimes it's not committees that make a difference. It's the work you do in this house, and it's the work you do for your constituents. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we took into consideration, of course, is the issue of gender, is the issue of regional balance, is the issue of ranking, amongst other factors, Mr. Speaker. But of course, Mr. Speaker, in the process, some of the members may not have got what they wanted. And Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I want to reiterate is the fact that after this process, and we go through elections, Mr. Speaker, there will be a second round of reorganization. So I want to encourage members that have not got the committees that they are interested in to hold on and wait for the second level of reorganization. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I do second and thank Honorable Osoro. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members on their feet. Take your seats. Take your seats. Umulkheri, there were so many empty seats where you're coming from. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 9, which is that pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 175 and further the resolution of the House on 27th October 2022, this House approves the appointment of members to the respective committees of the House as specified in the schedule to the supplementary order paper for 5th March 2025 afternoon sitting, subject to the amendment appearing at page 165 on the Committee on Regional Integration, where at number 16, Irene Mayaka, Honorable, replaces Honorable Orero Peter Ocheng, MP. Order, Honorable Okoyo. You know the procedure. You remain on your seat until you are given an opportunity. That's when you stand up. You can't be so presumptuous that whenever you want to speak, you will speak. What's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on Standing Order 216. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 216-2 provides that a member appointed to a departmental committee at the commencement of a parliament at any other time during the term of parliament shall, unless the House resolves otherwise, serve for the term of the parliament, subject to Standing Order 217. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 176 Standing Order 176, Mr. Speaker, provides the criteria, Mr. Speaker, of the discharge of a member from a committee. Mr. Speaker, I have been a member of the Departmental Committee on Energy, Forestry, and Mining. Standing Order 176 provides that a party may discharge a member from a select committee after the member has been accorded an opportunity. Number two, it provides that the party whip of the party that nominates a member to a select committee shall give notice in writing to the Speaker with the intention of discharging that member from that select committee. And number three, most important, the Speaker shall, within 3 days of receipt of the notice, under paragraph 2, inform the member. Mr. Speaker, I am a member of the Departmental Committee on Energy, or on Environment. And Mr. Speaker, if I have been removed, the standing orders provide that 176 shall apply on Standing Order 216. It is even written there. Mr. Speaker, you cannot remove a member from a committee. I am not in the list on the Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining, which I was nominated to at the beginning of this parliament. Mr. Speaker, even if Osoro, even if Ichungwa does not want me in this committee, you must remove me procedurally. Give me a hearing, notify the Speaker to give me a notice. Mr. Speaker, it will not be in order to continue with whatever is happening here, because it is okay to remove me. It is within the procedure and rules. These standing orders, Mr. Speaker, you are one of the creators of these standing orders. I have used them for the last 12 years. I was a whip of our county assembly, so I know how to use standing orders. You cannot remove me without, I need letters written to me. Accord me a hearing. After according me a hearing, now give notice to the Speaker. The Speaker will tell me within 3 days, you cannot remove me in the morning. I have been a member of this committee and I cannot remove in the manner in which you want to remove me. However powerful you might be, Mr. Speaker, it is not correct. Whatever has been tabled before this House, Mr. Speaker, is kangaroo, it is null and void, it cannot operate because they are standing orders and the procedure and rules of this House, the traditions. When Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah, when several honorable members were de-whipped from committees, the Honorable Wangwe, who is the immediate former whip, wrote letters to specific members. And apart from that, the communications were done directly to the Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I cannot be removed from and the Speaker cannot oversee my removal from a committee, a departmental committee, without me being discharged by my political party. And Mr. Speaker, because you are the Solomon of this House, kindly do not proceed with this motion in the state that it is, and it will be a procedural wrong. This is the making of Kimani Ichung'wah, which cannot work in this assembly. Thank you very much.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, the member for Kajiado North is my very good friend, and he served as a member of the County Assembly of Kajiado. And he has clearly read out to us the standing order. I will choose to ignore the invocation of the name Kimani Ichung'wah, which is now a spot for those who have nothing else to speak about. They can only speak about Kimani Ichung'wah, and I know why he's trying to invoke my name. But I will restrict myself to the provisions of the standing orders. The standing orders, Honorable Speaker, make it clear, unless otherwise resolved by the House. Therefore, I would improve on the member for Kajiado North. Other than carelessly invoking the name of Kimani Ichung'wah, who is not the majority whip, because the majority whip is called Honorable Silvanus Osoro. Other than doing that, he should be spending his time now convincing the House to resolve otherwise. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, invoking the name of Kimani Ichung'wah to look popular out there, my friend, go and do those things in the County Assembly of Kajiado, not in the National Assembly. Spend your time in the National Assembly discussing matters of greater importance to the people of Kajiado North, who are suffering without roads, whose children cannot even go to school because their member of parliament is busy following people in some other village somewhere. Why don't you follow members of your constituency in their own constituency addressing their issues. I will not allow, Honorable Speaker, any member to use my name or invoke my name to try and seek cheap publicity. Our standing orders are very clear, and Honorable Ngogoyo should know that. Deal with matters to do with your constituents, and there is also some levels of insatiable greed that we cannot be able to satisfy as a House. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the issue raised is simple. Let the Honorable Ngogoyo convince members of this House to resolve otherwise. Otherwise, the standing order, as he read, is very well, is in very simple language that even a member of our county assembly can be able to interpret.
Osoro. Osoro.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, when I moved this particular motion, I did indicate that coming up with a list of committees in any particular committee, Honorable Speaker, is not very easy. The movement of one to the other affects another. And it is by...
Address the issue he has raised. It's very simple.
That is where I'm heading to, Honorable Speaker. I'm making my case.
Yes.
I'm making my case that the movement of one member to another committee must affect the other because there are issues of regional balance, there are issues of gender, there are issues of party, Honorable Speaker. I am actually not aware, and I'm now checking, that the particular committee that he intended to be included, or rather he has been serving, Honorable Speaker, his name is missing. Then it must be placed somewhere for that list, Honorable Speaker.
Take your seat.
But even with that...
Take your seat. Take your seat. I expected you as a good lawyer to be listening. The Honorable Ngogoyo is raising an objection under Standing Order 176 on the allegation of discharge of a member from the committee. He is clearly out of order. What is before the House is a reconstitution of committees, is not discharge of members from any committee. If you looked at your standing orders very well, we are dealing with reconstitution of committees, and it's up to the House to resolve that the list brought by the whips is voted for in the affirmative, whereafter committees will be reconstituted, or voted on in the negative, whereafter I'll send them back to the drawing board to reconstitute the committees. When a member is singularly or with another discharged from a committee, that will then come in a separate form, and I'll address it when it does come. So you're out of order. Order, Ngogoyo. Yes, Kiamba, is that Kiamba?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I have a point to express in relation to the committees. Last time, some of us never got departmental committees. We went to the chairs concerned, we explained, and even up to now, we have not gotten departmental committee. I find this very marginalizing and not even having an altar of accountability. When you take some members as second-class members of parliament, even when we've made official requests and you are maintained, you don't have a substantial departmental committee for 2 consecutive times. I mean, is that with the fairness, what people sat down and really, and even some people are more than 2 departmental committees. I think, Honorable Speaker, I'm not here by accident. I'm here by design, and I'm here representing people who need to hear my voice in areas which matters. So I think that needs to be considered. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Ondo.
Chair, I have keenly listened.
Address the Speaker.
Yes, Speaker.
Yes.
I've keenly listened to the sentiment raised by members. I've also keenly listened to presentation by the majority whip. And the Honorable Chair was in the issue
Honorable
of...
Speaker.
Sorry, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just hope and pray that the statement made by the majority whip on the issue of appointment of chairs and vice chairs is a true statement not meant for the public gallery. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament are here by design, having been elected by their people. When they go to those committees, we do hope and pray, Honorable Speaker, that in your wisdom and in your good guidance to this House, do not allow, do not attempt, or do not permit, where issues are raised, allow the members to exercise democratic right, elect their leadership without interference from other quarters. I don't want to believe and trust it has gone unanswered, would have no other interference from any other quarter.
Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Oundo, the Speaker has no role in the election of chairs of committees. The dynamics I've been in this space for quite some time. And when you go to committees, you have your vote. You're also subject to your whipping. You are subject to the dynamics of your coalitions, the dynamics in your parties. And I want to encourage you to leave the Speaker out of this, because this is about the various coalitions and parties in the House. Even the point raised by the distinguished member for Kiamba, you are for Kilome or Mboni? Makueni. In the House Business Committee sits your team leader from Wiper Party, who is also the deputy leader of the minority party in the Azimio coalition. And he's satisfied with the composition of the committees. So take the argument that you have proposed back to them and let them listen to you. As it is now, this list was approved by House Business Committee, in which sits all your leadership, majority leader and his whip, minority leader and his whip, and your team leader within the enclave of Wiper. They have passed this in the House Business Committee. Now that the matter has come to the floor, you have only two options: to resolve to approve the list, or to resolve to reject the list. If you do, then your leaders will go back to the drawing board and readjust and refresh and reflect on why the motion has been negatived. But as it is now, the Speaker cannot sit on appeal here. Just like the good point raised by Honorable Ngogoyo, he's raised a good point in a wrong forum. That issue, Honorable Ngogoyo, is if you have been discharged wrongly from a committee, and what is before the House is not a discharge, it's a reconstitution of committees, then I'll listen to you and look at the provisions of Standing Order 176 and give you the due process that you deserve. But as it is now, it is neither here nor there. Yes, Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, just as you have said, some of us have also been in this space for some time. And I want to say, really, I'm not complaining. For me, a committee is a committee. And once you are there, you serve. But I think there are some facts, we must put them on record so that as we go to the future, they will inform this House. Honorable Speaker, when the whip was moving this motion, the only thing he didn't mention was that there was a consideration because you have a broad-based government now. That was also considered, Honorable Speaker. Why am I saying it was considered? Honorable Speaker, I've been a member of public debt. I've been the first chair of that committee for the last 2 years and a half. And us as Wiper, we did agree that our members should remain in their respective committees without any movement. And I'm sure my party leader, my leader in the House, Honorable Mbui, that must have been the position. But as you can see, Honorable Speaker, I've been moved to another committee, and I have no complaints. I will serve there faithfully, I can tell you, Honorable Speaker. But I want leaders here to learn. The majority leader of this House in the 12th Parliament was my chairman in the Budget and Appropriation Committee. And because of these political considerations, he was moved to other committees. And I thought this year, he would take this opportunity and make sure that members are not punished for relating the different individuals, Honorable Speaker. So, even though we don't want to say it, the truth of the matter, Honorable Speaker, is if we want this House to move to the next level in terms of democracy, we must allow members of this House to be in committees as they request. It is very unfortunate you find our members to departmental committees, Honorable Speaker. Some of us are in two select committees. And I thought if they were to remove me from public debt, they should have given me a departmental committee so that I also have a chance to serve in a departmental committee. But you realize, Honorable Speaker, I'm moving from a select committee to another select committee, Honorable Speaker. So as I said, I'm not complaining, Honorable Speaker, and I will serve there faithfully, but all said and done, Honorable Speaker. Makali Mulu was a PhD in economics, and I thought I would serve better in public debt than I would serve in regional integration, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to go beyond that, Honorable Speaker. I will be voting for the motion, yes, but I want that to go on record on that matter.
Thank you, Honorable Bakali Mulu. You have put it on record. Again, it's a good point being prosecuted in the wrong forum. Because that point should be prosecuted in the court of Robert Mbuya and Millie Odhiambo and Junet Mohammed, not before the Speaker. Order, honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Bowen, take your seat. Today you are very, very mobile. What is the problem? Take your seat. The members standing at the back. Honorable members, since all I've been hearing are lamentations and not contributions to the motion, allow me to put the question at order number 9, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 175, and further to the resolution of the House on 27th October 2022, this House approves the appointment of members to the respective committees of the House as specified in the schedule to the supplementary order paper for 5th March 2025 afternoon sitting, subject to the amendment at page 165, where the Honorable Orero Peter Ocheng MP, appearing at number 16, is replaced by the Honorable Irene Mayaka. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, having passed that, you are obligated in the committees that have been reconstituted to elect leadership, chair and vice chairs, within 7 days. So this must be done on or before Wednesday next week. Tomorrow by 8 in the morning, the clerk is directed to release a schedule of meetings of the various committees so that you can be able to observe that schedule and meet as directed in the rooms directed with the clerk and his team superintending over the election of the leadership of the committees. So be on the lookout for the communication to that, the select committees. Secondly, Honorable Millie Odhiambo was sufficiently clear in her contribution that where there are gaps, order members, that where there are gaps or there are issues to be addressed like the one of Ngogoyo, Makali Mulu, and so on, it is work in progress. you can go back to your caucuses, to your leadership. You will be listened to. If they find merit in what you raise, then they will be able to discharge one member for another, as in the case of Ngogoyo, or do whatever replacements which they can bring to the notice of the Speaker, and as and when they come, we'll give them due process. So take this as work in progress, because these are dynamic processes. From time to time, we lose members to death, to court processes, and so on. And others have to come and replace them in those positions. So it's directed so. By tomorrow morning, the clerk's schedule will be out, and start organizing yourselves to elect your leadership. Finally, the chair of every committee or vice chair is elected in accordance with the dynamics that you all know. So go on and elect and give us leadership that will help this House. And those who will be elected chairs of committees and vice chairs, I beseech you, be the first to create quorum in the House at all times. To whom more is given, much more is expected. Those who are given that privilege to lead committees, be the first to arrive in the House, be the last to leave the House. Like I did tell you, you are truly here in my many years. The Speaker always found me in the chamber, and I followed the Speaker out of the chamber every single working day. And Honorable Kainan is my witness to this. Please try and give this House quorum to work. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, consideration of the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy.
This motion will be moved by the chair of the Liaison Committee, who is the Deputy Speaker. And we want to thank you for improvising our operations in the absence of the committee,
Yes, thank you.
for chairing the Liaison Committee and giving the House progress on our work. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Liaison Committee on its consideration of the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 5th March 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 15 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and Standing Order 232A 7 and 8. And A, approves the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy and makes the policy and financial resolutions contained in this report. Honorable Speaker, let me begin by first thanking the members of the Liaison Committee who processed this medium-term debt management strategy. I must applaud the membership because this was the first time that the members considered the medium-term debt management strategy. In fact, Honorable Speaker, they sat until midnight last night to be able to complete the work together with the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury, together with his Principal Secretary and their team. And we also appreciate them. Honorable Speaker, the medium-term debt management strategy is a government policy to document, document that guides the debt management for the next financial year, and over the medium term, the medium-term debt management framework assesses the cost and risk elements in the existing portfolio and develops a strategy to minimize those costs and risks in line with the set management objectives. Honorable Speaker, the medium-term debt management strategy
has been prepared at a time when the country's public debt has reached 11.2 trillion by January of 2025, which is equivalent to and is 65.7% of GDP. This debt comprises of Kenya shillings 5.93 trillion as domestic debt and Kenya shillings 5.09 trillion as external debt. Honorable Speaker, despite the high level of the debt, which stands at the present value of overall public and publicly guaranteed debt at 63% of GDP. As per the latest debt sustainability analysis, this ratio is projected to decline to anchor the debt at 55% of GDP present value terms by 2028. And this, we got assurance from the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury that they are going to support and work hard